There are two places in the Torah where they're called the curses. Literally, it says, if the person doesn't connect it to the light of the Creator, if a person does not follow the spiritual path, God forbid, negative things can happen. Two times in the Torah that you have literally an entire section devoted to what is called the curses. Of course, there are secrets to it, but at the most basic level, the Midrash reveals to us the following power of this day. Rabbi Shimon says, Ezra, who's manifested a lot of the order of the connections, the order of the Torah that we read on every Shabbat, Ezra is creating the calendar, creating the sections within the Torah, made sure that the curses, the sections of negative consequences that are written in the book of Vayikra, the one that we are completing with these portions, Behar-Bechukotai, should always be read before Shavuot. And the second section that are called curses or the negative consequences, they are to be read always before Rosh Hashanah. Why? Tichleh shana vekileloteha, so that the curses of the previous year will end. The Kabbalistic calendar has two parts. One of them end before Shavuot. We're ending that Kabbalistic cycle now. And the second cycle of year ending is right before Rosh Hashanah. And as the Kabbalists teach, when there is a shift, when there is an inflection point, there's tremendous opportunity. So literally, they're saying by reading the curses, by reading the negative consequences, it has such an energy that makes it like a wall that says if anything negative has happened to us in the past 6 months, the power of this Shabbat, but you have to know it with certainty and meditate upon it, that we can build a wall and say to all of that, any and all of that negativity, you are not allowed past this Shabbat. Meditate upon this now and throughout this reading. Think about those things in your life right now that have started or happened or that are happening, and ask and know that the gift of this day is a wall. Repeat the words over and over again in your mind. Tichleh shana vekileloteha. Any negativity that has been occurring, any darkness that is happening, I demand with the assistance of the light of the Creator that has gifted, has infused within this Shabbat, the power to build the walls for Tichleh shana vekileloteha. Think about all those things. One of the things that you want to build a wall that say, this energy, this force, this situation cannot follow me after this Shabbat, and of course, I want all the blessings to keep flowing into my life. Whatever blessings that were happening in the past 6 months, continue. But anything negative, we have the power, the ability, the gift on this Shabbat to build the wall and stop them from following us into Shavuot. Now, the beginning of this week's portion says, Im bechukotai telechu. The Creator is giving us a guarantee. If you follow the spiritual path, ve'et mitzvotai tishmoru, and you will keep the tools, the principles, the actions that are necessary to connect to the light of the Creator. It says, ve'asitem otam. Literally, it means, and you will do them. But the Midrash reveals that it means something else. And then, of course, you will have blessings. This is path for blessings. On this Shabbat, the Creator is revealed to every single one of us and says, if you are truly on a spiritual path and protecting your path, Hareni ma'ale alechem ke'ilu asitem atzmechem. I will view it, or it will be as if you have created yourself. What does it mean to create ourselves? We know when we were born, we were created by our parents, by the light of the Creator. But the Creator seems to be telling us on this Shabbat, you need to create yourself. What does it mean to create ourselves? How do we do it? Why is it important? There's a verse in Psalms, in the Midrash, that will open to us a window to understanding the secret. It says, Ve'am nivra yihalel yah. A created people can sing, can connect to the light of the Creator. Only people who are created, What does that mean? We're all created. Every single person in the world has been created. Okay, so that's a creation, your own creation. So I want to ask you, did you create yourself this year? Did you create yourself today? Did you create yourself last week? And what does it even mean? But it says in Psalms, only people who are being created by themselves can truly connect to the light of the Creator. Then it says, this refers to people who their spiritual work is still leading them to being spiritually not alive, not enough, as it says, chiyut, not enough life force that is coursing within us, spiritual and physical. Because we know, when a person is connected to the light of the Creator, really, there is chiyut, there is life. In the Zohar, in the beginning of the Idra Zuta, the section, as Rabbi Shimon is leaving the world, he says, the Creator is life, and you can only be connected to the light of the Creator if you are living. What does it mean, living? It means with vigor in your physical and spiritual life. So the Midrash is saying, most people are dead, at least comparatively, living in a dead life. But how do you fix it? It says, Uvaim umitpalelim lefanecha. They are become aware. They are truly conscious of the fact that they're not alive enough, that they are comparatively dead, and they beg the Creator, give me life. Ve'ata boreh otam bri'ah chadasha. And you create them as a new being. This is compared to Rosh Hashanah, and this is what's happening to us today, leading it to Shavuot. We need to be created into a new being. Why? And what does it mean? And this is the beauty of Kabbalah. We don't understand in general terms as it refers to, we have to understand in particular terms, why are we dead? And how do we resurrect the dead? How do we become alive? How do we become an Am Nivra Yehaleliyah, a newly created being, and people who truly be able to connect to the light of the Creator? This is based on a section in the Tikkunei Zohar. When a person does negative selfish action, they have disconnected themselves from the light of the Creator. We know when we do negative action, when we act selfishly, that energy doesn't go somewhere else. It literally comes and rests on the individual, on the body. And then what happens? The consequence of negative actions is not so much that we've done negative actions. The Creator, some people has the silly idea that God has a desire for you to do one thing and not the other. And if you do this one thing, God will be angry at you and punish. All that silliness. We know that it's all about me. What do I do? And what are the consequences of what I do? And here, the Tikkunei Zohar, Rabbi Shimon is telling us something very important. That when an individual does actions of selfishness, of desire to receive for oneself alone, that darkness, that negativity remains within the individual. It rests upon the body. And what happens when there's too much negativity resting upon the body? Nishmat Chaim, the true soul, that if it's within me, it's called the soul of life, filled with vigor and coursing throughout the physical and spiritual body. Then it leaves the body, and only the lower level of soul remains there. Simple, profound, but hopefully transformational. There's only one reason why we are spiritually and physically dead. Now, there are different levels of dead. Of course, there is the dead when the soul completely leaves, and we have to put the body in the ground. But then there are the rest of us who are dead, God forbid. Rav Ashlag says a crazy thing, that the way we know if you're spiritual is what do you feel in your body. Most people think it's the other way around, right? It doesn't matter what you feel in the body, it's what your spiritual experience is. And Rav Ashlag says no. Because what is our job here in this world? Our job is to completely bring the Nishmat Chaim, the soul of life into this body, and then the body feels alive, really alive, physically and spiritually. But because the individual, most of us, do actions of selfishness, of desire to receive for oneself alone, the spirit of life, the soul of life, the strongest part of us is outside of our body, and the lowest level remains there. And therefore, we remain physically alive, but spiritually almost in the level of dead, as the Midrash says.
If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Book now with me one-to-one session in angel coaching and communication coaching. To learn more, email or DM me. Enjoy the video.
The Midrash says. So when we said before that this is the Shabbat with the gift of Tichleh, shana, vekileloteha, that we're building a wall to stop all negativity from entering, now we understand what we need to be asking for is that our dead life stops. Whatever we thought we were living of a spiritual nature, it says in the Midrash, a person cannot really be connected to the light of the Creator unless a person is killing or disregarding a part of themselves. So the Midrash is telling us, as we come to this Shabbat of the wall, the Shabbat that we want to leave behind all the negative aspects of our soul, what we also want to bring an end to, in the movies, we call them zombies, the dead who are alive. But that really, to some extent, what we are. In truth, we're supposed to be living with the totality of the soul within us. And when the totality of the soul within us, you're living with vigor and strength every single second, physical and spiritual. But because of the consequences of our negative, selfish actions, the soul is now residing above us. We have forced it out. What do? First of all, you're awakening the consciousness. I desire for the totality of my nishmat chaim, the totality of my living soul to come back into this body. Of course, that means I'm going to need to change. I understand whenever I act in selfish ways, and that weight, that darkness is attached to the body, the soul has to live. But on this Shabbat, we come to the Creator, we beg to the light of the Creator. I understand that the reason why I was a zombie in the past, whatever that is, and it's not a bad thing, we all are to some degree. We understand the consequences of our selfish actions, of our lack to push, to connect to the light of the Creator, have forced our soul out of our body. And we are begging the Creator, allow my soul to come completely back into my body. So that's the second gift of this Shabbat, to leave my zombie self behind the wall, because I understand that that's not the way life is supposed to be. I have forced, in the words of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, my soul of life to be removed from my body and flow around me. And therefore, my experience, physical and spiritual, is tiny percentage. We can call it death compared to who? The life we're supposed to be living. And we beg the light of the Creator, give us our soul back, our totality of our soul back. What a gift. Become a renewed, created being, person that can truly is connected to the light of the Creator. And now we want to understand as well that there are really two different things here. It's a crazy truth, but our soul is living its life. We are living consciously our life. Sometimes they are aligned. For most people, for most of the time, there are two complete realities. The body living and struggling because it's not alive. It's 10% alive, 15% alive, and the soul is always alive. But the crazy thing is that your conscious experience is what matters to you right now. But if you were able to connect to your soul, you'd be flying all the time. Your soul is flying all the time. There are two parts of us, two versions of us. There's the body version, there's the soul's version. Sometimes they are aligned, and that's when you're really alive. Most of the time, you're living with 10% of your soul inside your body, and 90% of it, your soul is flying. People have this thing, I have to take care of my soul. Your soul doesn't need any taken care of. Your soul is having the best time. It is the essence of living force, but the problem is our conscious experience, the body experience, has expelled most of the soul. True Kabbalists are always revolutionary. Everything they're saying, if you understand it and take it, it's a revolution. Rav Kook, great Kabbalist, a friend of Rav Ashlag, explains a revolution of the secret of prayer and our soul. What is prayer? First thing you need to know, prayer is connection to the light of the Creator. Your soul is praying all the time. What does it mean? Your soul is in constant experience of contact, constant connection to the light of the Creator. What's the soul's desire? The soul's desire to become completely revealed within the body. It's not satisfied that it's in feeling complete life, but that the body is feeling 50% life, 5% life. It wants to be completely revealed within the body, within our lived physical experience. It desires to be manifested back within this body, within the totality of the body, and the soul want to become manifest within the body. And then when the body is alive, spread its influence over everything around it, on the entire world and the entire living beings. Once you understand that the soul is in constant prayer, the soul is in constant connection, now you can understand the proper consciousness of prayer. Prayer is not considered prayer as it meant to be unless you are praying with the consciousness, my soul is praying all the time. What is prayer? Those words that connect us, that consciousness to connect us to the endless light of the Creator. The soul is in that state of appreciation all the time, every single second of every single day. The soul is praying all the time. It's not within my body, so it's not in my experience yet, but it's constantly praying. My soul is in complete desire to be connected to the light of the Creator every single second. Every once in a while, I'm sure we've all had spiritual experiences, but that little window, that 5 seconds, that 1 hour that you experienced, that's your soul experience all the time. That was meant to be your experience all the time. So when we pray, when we connect, when we meditate, that is the one time when we're taking the soul's constant experience and revealing it as a momentary experience within this body. And that's what the Kabbalists mean, that the person should be praying all day. What does that mean? A person should have his soul within the body, and therefore his or her experience of life should be only with the soul and what the soul is experiencing for the rest of the time. It's comparable to a rose that opens up its leaves to receive the dew in the morning, or the sunlight that is beaming down, that shine upon the rose with their light. That's the experience of the soul, always in a state of open, receiving from the endless light of the Creator, always with nishmat chaim, life force. That's where the soul is living. And the gift of this Shabbat, but you have to understand first, as we said before, we've all been zombies, and this is the Shabbat. The Creator says, create yourself anew. What's our guiding renewal consciousness? I understand, as the Zohar tells us, that the reason why, there's only one reason, not because the Creator didn't want to bless me. There's only one reason why the past 6 months I wasn't living, waking up every single day, living every single day with 100% spirit of life coursing within me and directing me every single second of the day. It's because when I'm selfish, when I'm acting with desire to receive for oneself alone, when I didn't connect, when I didn't choose to connect with the light of the Creator, the soul didn't go away, but it's around me. That energy is around me. On this Shabbat, I will build a wall between that body-soul experience to a different, a renewed, rebirthed, realived experience. That's the gift of this Shabbat, to know that I can Can you imagine what kind of life that is when your body and soul are connected 100%? We have to beg for it, to receive this gift and become a reborn soul and body complete. And you receive this great light, receive this great life, body and soul completely connected, and therefore life lived with chiyut, with life force and vigor every single second.